Namaste. Welcome to the Ilongga Yogi podcast. My name is Kate. I am from Iloilo City. I'm a certified yoga instructor and certified in mental health counseling. I share content on yoga, mindfulness, fitness, mental health, self-care, and healing. Before we get into it, I want to let you know that I teach classes both in person and online. So if you're interested in taking a class with me, just head over to bookwen.com/healing-Iloilo for the schedule and rates and to book as well. So I have been sick nonstop lately, just like back to back sick, and it's been very frustrating. I was sick by the end of November, and then 2 weeks later I got sick again, and I think that's very, very common right now. But I've just been taking it easy. I did take a quick a few days off from teaching, but I also knew that I couldn't take too long since it's about to be Christmas break, and if I don't teach, I don't get paid, so I need to show up for classes. So that's it's been kind of frustrating, but I've just been asking myself throughout this whole experience, what is this trying to tell me? What am I supposed to learn from this? And maybe there are many more lessons that I have to learn that I am not seeing right now, but I think it's definitely just to take care of myself more. But that's very general, of course, that we all need to do that. But to be more specific, just to drink water a lot more, to not stress over the small things, not sweat the small things. If I am feeling tired, I don't force myself to work out because it takes a lot of energy out of me to do that. So definitely adjusting that now and just focusing on my yoga practice. Since I work late at night, I have to make sure that on all the other aspects of my life, I'm taking care of myself as much as possible. So taking my vitamins, just taking care of myself as much as possible. So I feel the past few weeks, since I got sick, I've been calmer and just more grounded. I've been taking it easy. I think I also learned to wear my mask whenever I'm with a lot of people, whenever I'm going to be at big gatherings, to always wear my mask and always sanitize as much as possible, especially right now. It's just, you can't really avoid it. Everyone's getting sick. So that's, again, my update. Every time I record an episode, I always start off with this: I'm sick. It's just so I'm so done, honestly. But that's the current update with my life. Besides that, it is Christmas time, so everything has been quite expensive. We're spending on a lot of things, which is a given. But I'm very lucky that this time around, for this Christmas, I have a full-time job on top of my yoga business. So this has helped me a lot just to get all my finances in line and not suffer so much for the month. So it's been okay, and I have learned to budget a little bit better than before. So it definitely has helped me, just having this full-time job, and then being able to track my finances like I used to before helps me see just clearly what I spend on, what I can adjust on, and just have more discipline. So it's a Christmas season. I'm really excited for everything that's about to happen, but at the same time, right now, it's I'm preparing for the busiest year of my life. Next year will be crazy. Everything just keeps coming in, just one after another. The past few weeks, a lot of meetings here and there, just a lot of talks about this and that. And January is already pretty busy in and of itself because it's dinagyang. I don't know how I will survive next year. And it's kind of funny that I just talked about how I need to slow down and relax, and then I'm also gonna go crazy next month actually because of everything that's gonna happen. So it's kind of crazy. So I have to have a plan in place to ensure that even though I am very, very busy, I'm definitely gonna splurge on things like, so far I've tried IV drips, and they have been very helpful in just keeping my health intact, honestly. So I'll have to do a lot of that, just a lot of IV drips, a lot of water, a lot more yoga, just taking care of myself, resting if I need to, drinking all the vitamins that I can at the best time that's the most efficient. So things like that, little efforts like that, I know I definitely need, because I mean, I think in 2 weeks, like example, this weekend, I literally have 3 Christmas parties to go to, which is not me complaining, but it's just like, whoa, and I'm happy because I remember back in 2018, I like had 0 Christmas parties to go to. So this is very exciting. It's an abundance of people that I will be hanging out with and that I love to spend time with. So I do have a JCI Christmas party, and then I have my work year-end party, which I'll be hosting. So I'm like, I don't know, how do I get through that? But it's okay. And right after that Christmas party, I go straight to my own yoga studios or my yoga Christmas party, which I'm again hosting and organizing. So it's definitely going to be a long day. I am so excited. And then, of course, the week after that is going to be preparation for Christmas. Actually, we're going to be celebrating, me and my partner, my husband, we're going to celebrate our 1st year wedding anniversary. So that's kind of insane to even think of, but we're going to do that. We're not going to do nothing too big or grand. It's not like we're going to travel anywhere, because although we wanted to, we realized that January, I tell you, January, every weekend we'll be out of town. So I don't know, again, how I'll survive that. But because of that, we're going to keep it nice and simple for this year. So, if you have tips on how to manage just how busy things are going to get for me and how to stay healthy, because my health, oh my gosh, it will truly just be the death of me, knock on wood, because it's been a struggle this year, just every month. Getting sick, I am done. I am really done. Because it's come to the point where I would rather just like not get sick so I can show up for class every day, not have to have any absences, not have to cancel any classes, because I just want to show up for all my classes. And it's really annoying that I have to deal with that. But at the same time, I know there's a reason for that. And it's telling me that maybe things I have to change. So, I'm accepting the fact that perhaps teaching only one class is all that I can handle and manage, even though I wish I could teach more. But honestly, guys, my body just cannot handle it. And on top of that one class, I do have one private class that I also teach every day on top of that. So that's all that I can do. Like 2 is my max. I can't do any more. I cannot work out as much as I used to, and that's okay, but I have to prioritize my yoga practice and my meditation practice, non-negotiables. I have to drink all my water. I have to drink all my vitamins. I have to do those IV drips, because those are saving my life right now and saving my work, my career. And of course, just like balance out the opportunities that come in. Of course, I know that you can always say no to certain things. So, I kind of am picking and choosing what I can show up for and maybe what I can say no to for the meantime. As much as possible, because you can't do it all. If I try to do it all, I will burn out and explode. So we don't want that. Anyway, speaking of exploding, recently I posted on my Instagram stories if there was any topic that, again, people wanted me to talk about. And one did come up, and it was about anger issues. So I really actually wanted to talk about anger issues and how we can manage our anger issues, because this is also something that secretly, I think privately, I have had problems with, but not many people know that or realize that when they see me or know me, because again, I just seem so quiet and so calm and relaxed all the time. But that's not true, because if you really, really knew me, as in like family wise, or if you were very, very close to me, you know how toxic my anger issues have been in the past. And when I was younger, I think I have always had the idea that I have to live up to this image of being a very perfect daughter or a good girl, right? I think those are usual, I don't know what the term is, but I guess just like personalities that we encounter that can cause a lot of issues, right? And I don't want to sound like I am blaming my childhood or how I grew up. I'm just pretty much explaining like what was going on in my head as I was growing up. And that's kind of what it was. Of course, for me, it's like all I needed to do was to just be the perfect child. So as much as possible, I could not express my anger, or I shouldn't express my anger, because that's not what a good child does. So I think that while I was growing up, I've had to suppress a lot of that anger, like a lot of the emotions that I've had that could kind of build this anger in me. And because I suppressed it, because I kind of just ignored it a lot of the times, I think that resulted in me lashing out many, many times in the past when I was younger, out of nowhere. Like I would lash out, I would yell. When I was much younger, I would have these crazy tantrums, like banging on the door, yelling, throwing things, really going crazy. Like you wouldn't even think that that's who I used to be, because it's like so far from who I am, or who people think I am. So it's just like completely like black and white, the complete opposite. And I would just go so crazy. Even when I was much older, in high school, that would happen a lot. I would lock myself up in my room, in the bathroom sometimes. I would just like rebel. I wouldn't leave the room. I wouldn't go out, or I would throw things. I would scream and yell, and just like really intense. It was very, very intense. And there were even times when I would be very passive aggressive. And then other times when I would be just aggressive, like really intense. And it was just like a lot, because it didn't happen every day, and I didn't happen like in public a lot. Like I would keep it to myself. So when I was at home, and usually like with family or relatives, that's when it would happen a lot, or with a romantic partner, that's when it would happen a lot. And I had a lot of those moments, I think up to just like a few years ago. Like up to 2020, honestly, especially when I would be triggered by family or by my own mom, because that has always been my biggest trigger. And that has just like always been a problem for me. And so it's something that I didn't realize was such a big deal, or something that I needed to, I guess, be more mindful of when I started seeing a doctor for my endometriosis. So as you may know, I do have endometriosis. And I started to see this acupuncturist who is also a physician, and he also studied traditional Chinese medicine. So he kind of has just all of that under his belt, right? So when I talked to him and consulted him, he did mention how in traditional Chinese medicine, usually reproductive issues, they stem from anger issues. So there's like a correlation between the two. And so I noticed that, and I noticed how, I'm the type of person that when I get angry, I get very, very angry. Like I yell, I throw things, I would hit things. It's really too much, and so that made me think for a bit and realize that, I really, really want to help manage my endometriosis, because it was very painful, as you know. It was too much already for me to bear. So I wanted to do every single thing that I can to relieve the pain and to manage my endometriosis. So if that meant that I had to not get angry, I was willing to do that. So since like 2022, I believe, or was it 2021? I think last year, it was just last year or 2 years ago. That's when I started trying to be very, very aware, like self-aware of the times when I get angry or when I feel my anger rise up in me. I started to be more aware of my triggers, and I've started to figure out like what's the best way for me to release the anger in the healthiest way without it affecting the people around me. So let's just take a quick break from this episode to talk about my juice brand, Daily Greens. If you're in Iloilo City and you're looking for healthy juice that doesn't have any added sugar, no preservatives, and is packed with a variety of vegetables and fruits, then you should try Daily Greens. With 2 flavors, Greens Blend, a blend of 11 vegetables and fruits, and Carrots Blend, which is 50% carrots and a mix of other vegetables and fruits, this is unlike any other juice sold on the market. Most juices are packed with more fruits to help it taste better, but completely miss the point of being a nutritious and healthy drink. Remember, fruits are still filled with sugar and must be enjoyed in controlled portions. Daily Greens makes sure that you get the most out of a bottle, packing it with more vegetables than fruits and making it fresh, not to mention affordable for everyone. You can enjoy a bottle or 2 every day, which is perfect if your goal is to maintain healthy yet easy habits in the long run. You can order from Healthy Kitchen, Salads and Wraps, Sunday Bake Night, Storm Cafe, or Simple and Whole. This is your sign to start building healthier habits in the most convenient way with Daily Greens. So how do I manage my anger? I know that I'm gonna start to sound like a broken record because my solution to everything, to most of my problems is kind of the same. But I hope that I can give you just a slightly different perspective on how it has helped me because honestly, this is what I have done to really help my anger issues, to help manage my anger problems. So number 1, of course, is daily meditation. I used to be overly reactive and very, very emotional and very, very sensitive, and I would take almost everything personally, especially because I used to be a very, very, very insecure person. And ever since I started meditating, which was back in 2013, and I have done that pretty much every single day of my life. I would say there have been days I missed, but I would always come back to that routine. So a daily meditation practice has literally changed how I manage my emotions, especially my anger. Like, it has been the one thing that has, in a way, removed the emotion of anger, honestly, because now it's like when I feel the same or the similar sensations and emotions that I would get when I'm about to feel anger or be angry, it's like I can instantly shift unconsciously. Like, it has come to that point. And I think that a lot of people who also meditate can definitely relate to that. The things that used to trigger you and really push your buttons, now because I've meditated for pretty much 10 years, for a decade, almost every single day, all those don't even bother me, not even the slightest. And even to a point where, like, if this used to trigger me, now it just, like, I can find humor in it. Like, I can find the joy in it and laugh at it, when before I would just go nuts. So honestly, if you are dealing with a lot of anger issues, what's anger meant? Anger issues, or if you are trying to manage your anger, the first thing, because it's the most accessible and it's the easiest thing to start with, it's daily meditation. You have to do it every day. Every day doesn't have to be perfect. Like, your practice will not be the same. There will be days where it's extra hard, and there will be days where it's very easy. But you have to be patient because it's part of the whole journey. It's part of the experience and the learning that you will need in order for you to help manage those anger issues. Honestly, it's my top one. This is my non-negotiable. I don't have to do all the other things on this list, honestly, but daily meditation, that has to happen. That has to be the main priority every single day. So number one, daily meditation. Second is, of course, shocker here, yoga practice. Because it's always through, like, if, for example, I'm very, very stressed and I don't know what to do, right? When there are those moments when you're so overwhelmed, when the smallest things just kind of, again, annoy you and you just feel like you're at this breaking point, right? When that happens, for me, if I'm unable to, if like a meditation practice is just not gonna work, because for example, my brain is just going crazy, my thoughts are just at 1,000 miles per hour, and I just want to do this and this and that, jumping on my mat and then moving my body and just moving with my breath helps me get out of my head and then into the present moment, helps me sweat it all out, helps me just release it, like literally move my body to release all of that. And it just helps me make peace with my anger. Right after a yoga practice, I swear to you, no matter what it was I was experiencing, excuse me, I just burped, what it was I was experiencing or feeling right before I stepped on the mat, all of that just goes away. It just like literally fades away. I can't even remember why I was angry in the first place or why I was tripping in the first place. And it's all because I took a moment to step away, to get out of my head, to just breathe and move and sweat and relax. And then suddenly, like, your mind is just clearer and you're able to just face on the problem in a different way, in a healthier way. So if it works for you, I would honestly recommend that practicing yoga and having that regular practice and making it your go-to, especially during those times when you just feel very, very overwhelmed, even if it's just in bed or if you have a tiny space at home, make do with that space. You know, you don't need too much space to be able to move your body and to flow. You know, as long as you have just enough space, even if you have to stand the entire time, that can still be considered as a practice. So yoga practice is the second thing that I have done to manage my anger. And again, I don't even have to go to the gym very often, but I do need to step on my mat at least like 3 times a week, no less than that. Third is, of course, working out. Honestly, you know, working out is more of the intense form of moving my body, right? Because you have to really come into the gym and just give it your best. You know, like you have to push all of your strength and all of your might. And that kind of experience of just pushing through and being as strong as possible and just like being as brave and fearless as possible, even if it's just like lifting weights or just doing an intense workout that you know is going to kill you. Like the fact that you go through that whole experience helps me release like most of my anger. Again, like right after working out, it's like you don't even have the energy to be angry anymore because you just gave all your energy to that workout. And I think that's the main reason why working out helps me release a lot of that anger. For me personally, as you may know, I do functional fitness. My husband, he is the head coach of the gym that we go to. So he's the one who programs all the workouts. He is a CFL1. So for those who are familiar with CrossFit, he has certified under CrossFit, but just the first level. So I don't think you can call them a certified coach yet, from what I understand. But anyway, he is CFL1. So we do a lot of the CrossFit workouts, you know. So you know how intense those can be, and they really push you to the limit. And honestly, when you get through a CrossFit workout, when you get through that WOD, you have no more anger left in you. You have no more energy because you are so drained. So honestly, if you can find the time, at least like once a week, that's more than enough for me right now. That's all that I can do sometimes. And it just helps me so much, like just to let go and release all of that stuck energy that I cannot release through a yoga practice. You know what I mean? Like those strong, intense emotions that you can't really release in a yoga practice unless like I yell or scream or something, or like go crazy on my mat, which you can. There is a somatic healing practice, but that's not what we're talking about for now. And also through like a meditation practice, because it's all very calm and like, you know, finding stillness. It's a whole different experience when you're working out and then doing a workout to just like let loose, you know, free yourself a little bit of all that stuck and all those difficult emotions. So working out would be the third thing that I have done. Journaling, of course, is the fourth one, because again, when there are things that I have to express, like if I feel like, you know, there's that type of anger where you feel you have to express it, you know, you have to share it. So journaling has helped. So whenever I take time to journal, I don't always do this a lot. Like I don't have to do it every single day, but most of the time, you know, when I just take the time to sit down every morning and I ask myself, okay, what do I want to talk about? What do I want to write down here? I don't feel like I'm dealing with anything at the moment. And then I just like write down everything that comes up in my head. I realize that there's actually a lot, you know, like for example, having a husband, it's not going to be the easiest. Of course, marriage is not always the easiest, right? So, there are many times where I don't talk about these things to other people, you know, because it's like to me, it's like a given. Like everyone has issues in their marriage. It's not going to be perfect. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. It's just how it is, you know, and it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of an issue that it's like a huge problem or anything. So I find that journaling down like some of your frustrations with your partner or like some of your frustrations with the marriage, is so much healthier, because like I swear the moment I write it down, it's like it's gone, it's done, I can let it go, and then like I can face my husband again as if nothing has even happened, as if there was nothing wrong. And it also helps me just like align my thoughts so that I can see it clearly, so that if ever I really do need to bring up something to him, I can easily do that in a way that doesn't feel very confusing or overwhelming for him, or as if like I'm attacking him. So journaling has helped me so much. And especially if you're also married, right? Like there are a lot of issues that come up as husband and wife, and sometimes because you're so comfortable with your partner already, you end up just like yelling at each other and going mad at each other. And so, you know, we want to avoid that as much as possible, because it's not always healthy to do that. But of course, discussing it properly and communicating is necessary. So if that discussion does end up become a bit heated, that's fine. That's a way for us to express it. But as much as possible, when I discuss anything with my partner, I want to be as level-headed and mature as possible and grounded as possible, so that he can get me right away, you know. And that's what has worked very well for us over this past year. 1 year of marriage so far, and just like throughout the years of our relationship too. So journaling has been a very healthy way for me to release like pent up anger and express it. Mainly like express it like word for word, without me having to dump it all on anyone else. Next would be actually the empty seat or empty chair exercise. This is something that I've learned from my psychiatrists and psychologists and therapists and all the counselors that I've been through, that I've experienced in my life, because I've been to a lot. But they always seem to have me do this exercise, because if there are things that I feel like I have not been able to say, that I really feel like I need to say out loud, but I'm unable to, like for example, if I want to make amends with a friend, but they're already like an ex-friend, so we don't really have any communication, but there's still a lot of anger and hurt and pain left in me. This is a practice that is usually suggested. So you kind of just sit down and imagine and actually put like an empty chair in front of you. And then imagine that person is sitting there, and just like talk to them as if they were there. Say everything you want to. And this is something that I've done a lot. Like, for example, healing from my past relationships. I would do this exercise because I know that, it's pretty useless to try and get closure. It's kind of, you're just wanting to get closure for yourself, really. So sometimes there's no need to drag that person in, not all the time, at least. So this exercise alone helps me a lot. Being able to sit down and imagine that they're in front of me and just like saying everything that I wish I could say to them and letting it all out. At least I've been able to just say it out loud, or writing down a letter if that feels like it's gonna work better for you. At least again, you are saying everything that you want to say word for word, and you're able to let it out, all the anger, all the sadness, all the pain, and so that it's not just like stuck in you. So that's one way for me to help manage my anger most of the time. It has helped me and saved me in moments where I was very close to just lashing out. So especially when it comes to like family matters, this is something that I've done a lot through the past year, just pretending that, the person that I'm talking to is here, and just like saying everything that I wish I could say, and doing that again and again and again, and until I feel like I've said enough and I feel like a huge weight has already been lifted. So empty seat exercise or empty chair exercise. And lastly, I would say just time alone, giving yourself a little bit of space, because there are definitely some people out there who are triggered even more whenever you try to force them to fix the problem immediately, while they're still in the heat of so much emotions, a lot of things happening and going on. So like for me, giving myself some space and some time to just think, to see, so that I can see things in a different way. Like that's the main thing for me to manage my anger, is to always shift sides, shift perspectives, and look at it from a different perspective and see like, what am I not seeing? What are they seeing that's really triggering them and making this an issue for them too? And so once I'm able to put myself in their shoes, that always just like fizzles out the anger, the fire in me, the rage in me, honestly. So that has helped me a lot of the time, especially when it comes to family problems, or with your partner and with your parent. Like that has been something that I've done again and again throughout my entire life, especially now, like with my partner. Before any sort of interaction, especially when I can feel that I'm frustrated or annoyed or hurt, whatever it may be, before I even talk to him, I want to be able to see it from his side first. I need to see it. Okay, he's coming from this. This is his experience. This is his past. This is what is probably going on in his head. And that just helps me see things better. Same goes with like issues with my parents or with my mom, let's say. I always try to look at it from her perspective. But of course, that usually happens like later on, because it takes time. It takes time for you to start seeing things differently. So, that's why I need that space. Like, I need to pull myself out of the situation first, so I can see, like, what are you trying to tell me that I cannot see when we're in the heat of the moment? What do you see that I can't seem to understand, whenever I'm overwhelmed by so much anger and frustration, right? So to me, it's very important that I have that time to see everything, the whole picture, so that I don't get angry. That immediately helps me understand the whole situation better and change the way how I feel towards the whole situation, instead of just like forcing my opinion and forcing what I feel all throughout. Because I know that, whenever these emotions of anger come up, it's usually because people are not seeing what you see. People don't understand you fully, or there's been like a miscommunication somehow. So being able to like just see it from both sides has helped. One more thing that I want to add here, of course, there are many moments where you cannot avoid it. Like, I do have a helper at home, and there have been times when I couldn't help myself but like raise my voice and get mad at her. And I really hate those moments, because I don't want to be that kind of person or type of person, So whenever that happens and I catch myself, I just kind of, after it, take a deep breath, calm myself down. I kind of stay quiet first, because I want to just like notice and observe everything that I'm feeling, and then kind of observe my train of thought, and then start to look at it from a different perspective, like right away, in order for me to like calm down. And then I kind of approach her and just like apologize or say sorry, for that. So as much as possible, as soon as I can. And I think that through all of these practices, these mindful practices of meditating daily, breath work, my yoga practice, working out, taking care of myself, this has made that whole process, like from the moment that, let's say, I react to right after that, it has gotten shorter and shorter. Like, I'm able to shift in an instant now, unlike before where it would kind of take me time. And I think that's all because of my mindfulness practice. So this is something, if you really want to manage your anger, it's going to take a lot of discipline and consistency. This is something that you have to do every single day for yourself, so that it can literally just change how your brain works, and then in turn how you react to certain things. Because honestly, I have to owe it to my yoga practice for helping me learn how to respond more mindfully than to react like emotionally. So that's it. That's my episode on managing anger. And I hope that you were able to learn something new from this whole episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Ilongga Yogi podcast. If you'd like more similar content, you can learn more on my blog and socials, which will be linked in the show notes. Wishing you peace in the body, peace in the mind, and peace in your heart wherever you are. Always take care of yourself, and happy holidays.